some of the hardware in my legs had shifted. So I'd had to have a surgery to basically clean out my joint space. And they find like one of the screws had worked its way into the joint space. And the docs were like, yeah, we cleaned it out and we found a screw. That's what's causing all the pain. Cause I was like in intense pain there in that deployment. I was like, I felt like an ice pick was every time I took a step. And I just thought, I was like, oh, I'm just being they pulled out like one of the screws and like adjusted the plate, and it was like the amount of work that you do on deployments, your hardware is going to keep shifting in your legs, and you're going to have surgeries after every deployment. You're not going to walk when you're 40. And so they decided to medically retire me from the military. I was fighting it at first. Like I was like, I can do like an ops job. I can heal up. Like let's figure out how to make this happen. And I was super angry and bitter and like almost in denial. Like this sucks. You know, they're kicking me out. But it was for the best. Like I remember medical retirement board process, which was an interesting little story on its own. But I remember submitting my package to, Big Navy, and they kicked it back and said, we're giving you 20% and you're getting a severance check. Basically, if you don't get 30%, you won't get medical benefits. It's like my medical records was like 4 volumes on top of my leg breaks, but all my injuries overseas and just basic stuff. And they're like, we're appealing this. This is outrageous. I had to get my blues ready and shave and get all clean. I remember walking in. I'm standing there because you basically had to go in front of a board. And there's like 3 Navy officers and a Marine officer. They're all like medical personnel, but usually the Marine guy has combat experience. The other 3 are like Navy docs. So I'm sitting there in the deal. He walks out and he looks at me and he goes, what are you doing here? And I was like, well, I'm here to appeal my decision. I was only rated 20%. And I'm like holding I have like these 2 baskets with my medical records, like this big basket of medical records. He said, what's that in your lap? And I was like, this is my medical records. And he like opens up a couple pages and he looks at my command, development group, huh? And he looks at my chest, I had like a Purple Heart and, all kinds of stuff. And he goes, how long you been in? I was like 14 years. And he said, they only give you 20%. And he goes, I'm going to fix that right now. And I walk in, I sit down, and they all look at me and they start filling out the paper, and the Marine guy's like staring at them. And they like pass around, they sign off, and they're like 100% permanent total, all combat service related. And then they start asking, like the Marine guy, and they start asking me questions about the command and my time overseas. Like, tell me about your deployments. And I was like, I was in Iraq, Afghanistan. He says, oh yeah. He's looking at them, like talking to me, like, hey, try to dismiss this guy.